Trucker 717. Guess what we're doing in 717? Yeah, slow grooving. Slow grooving. That's party in 717, yeah. Turn it up, truckers. Turn it up across the nation. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get to it today. All right, what's up, YouTube, Facebook? This is Jay, Trucker 717, and guess what we're doing? We're partying in 717. All right, what is going on? What is going on? A lot is going on. It's if you've been driving the last couple of days, the weather is been pretty bad. I had the luxury of having this weekend off, so I wasn't out in the snow. I just kind of caught a little bit of it, but it was pretty bad. They actually waived a lot of the hours of service requirements for a lot of drivers in about 5 or 6 different states. So if you were out there, you kind of could drive as long as you can get to your destination, which was a good thing. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What is going on in the news? Not much going on. There has been basically they're talking about the ELD again, and they're talking about basically coming up with harassment type requirement for truckers. I mean, for for trucking companies. Basically, what they want to do is they want to create a little clause in the ELD mandate, which requires it's a harassment clause for actually trucking companies. And what it's doing is there's 3 things they want to concentrate on this little harassment clause. And one thing is requiring the devices to have a mute function. Now, when I worked at Western, that was one of the things is that when you got done with your 10-hour break, they would send a little thing on your Qualcomm. Your 10-hour break has ended, you know, and basically saying, why aren't you driving? Well, if you're sleeping, that's kind of annoying. I mean, you may have just went to sleep about 3 or 4 hours ago, and all of a sudden they're seeing this beep, beep, beep. Your 10-hour break is up. So basically what they want to do is they're saying that, hey, truckers should be able to put a mute on that. They don't want truck driving companies to basically be trying to force us to get on the road when we're still tired, which is a good thing. Protecting records for duty status to manipulate edits, and basically what that is talking about is like, you know, you log on to your Qualcomm, you do your electronic logging, and everything goes to your safety department or whoever you have in your trucking company is considered safety department, basically, or your logging department. And basically, if they disagree with something, they can change your logs without your knowledge, which is a bunch of bullcrap. You're the driver, but they can change your logs at any time they want to. So basically, what they wanted to do was create a clause so that in order for the safety department or log audit to change your logs, they have to get your permission. They don't want people changing truck drivers' logs. We drive the truck. We can put down what we're doing and when we're doing it. And if, you know, somehow, you know, DOT that has a problem with it, they can deal with us on a one-on-one basis. But trucking companies shouldn't be able to go in and make changes to your log without your permission, which would be a good thing. Also, limiting location tracking, especially for like independent contractors. When we're off duty, where we go is our business.
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
But
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
A lot of trucking companies can track your where you're going. And like they said, they want to be able to. If they're tracking you, it must be on duty or you must be driving. So when you go off duty, where you go is your business, and that's the way it should be. You know, it's like when I'm not working for you, what I do is my business, as long as I'm abiding by the laws and abiding by your rules and regulations. But where I go and what I do is nobody's business. I mean, that's it's kind of stupid, but that's what a lot of trucking companies will do. They'll sit down and, hey, why are you over here? None of your business. Maybe I'm going to read a book. Maybe I'm going to a movie. Maybe I'm hanging out with my friends. But what I do, as long as I'm following your rules and regulations, I'm not breaking any laws. What I do on my off-duty time is none of your business. All right, so that's kind of a good thing. Those are some very good things that you're talking about. All right, I don't want to say Prime got caught with his pants down, but Prime got caught with his pants down. Basically, what this one is about is this guy was driving for Prime, okay, and apparently he had some medical issues that he had to go get taken care of, and it took him off the clock. He had to go to the doctor, and took him out of the truck. Well, when he came back from his medical things, and he tried to go to a different company, Prime put some negative stuff on his record. And basically, that truck driver called OSHA, and OSHA did an investigation, and basically they're finding that company, and they're making them pay that guy $20,000 because they fired him after his medical stuff. And basically, what they're saying is that, hey, you can't force a driver to go out and drive when he's not medically fit. That's a violation. So and you can't fire him because of it. I mean, it's always funny, and I always run into situations like that. And the same thing, I was talking to people about the situation with Western, and they're not paying people for a certain part of the training that they didn't feel like they had to pay people for. You have employment laws. You can't. I mean, I don't know why trucking companies think they don't have to obey the law. It's just amazing to me. But basically, they violated this guy's employment rights by firing him because he went to take care of a medical situation that he said, hey, I'm not fit to drive on the road. He followed all the requirements. He went and got himself taken care of. He was ready to get back on the road. And I guess Prime didn't like what he was doing, or didn't think it was warranted, or whatever reason they decided to do it. And then to put something negative on somebody's record. And I've heard people talk about that, and they'll threaten you if you decide to quit. Well, we're going to report that you left your truck on the side of the road. Look, if you turn your truck in at one of their terminals, and you've made an agreement, or you've let them know that, hey, I'm turning your truck in, they can't just put stuff on your record because they don't like you quitting. I mean, that's against the law. You can't, that's your record. You're not allowed to put unauthorized things on people's record. And a lot of trucking companies will threaten you with that crap. Well, I'll put that you left your truck since you're quitting. No, you can't do that. And if you do, but you can do like this guy, call OSHA. Let them do an investigation. And you might have $20,000 in your pocket, because that's what they paid to do. $20,000 because they basically put some bad information on this guy's record. All right, what else is going on? Every once in a while, I do pretty good backing. You'll learn through experience, but I know a lot of guys are getting in the trucking business, so it's always good to go over training on trucking. And the way I learned how to back, basically this video is basically exactly how I learned how to back. And I think it's a real good video on backing. So Some of you guys have been around the trucking industry for a while may not consider this something that is usable, but let's take a look at this basic backing. Like I said, this is basically how I learned how to back.
My name's Ken Harwood, and I'm with CR England Safety Department. And today, I'd like to talk to you about backing. Let's face it, backing a 53-foot trailer into tight spots safely on a daily basis is a risky proposition at best, and it's going to take time and practice for you to perfect the skills necessary to do this safely. So today, I'd like to show you some of CR England's safe backing techniques that you can use and help you get in and out of these tight spots. But first, there's some rules we need to follow, and these will help keep you safe. A pull-through spot should always be your first choice, but if you have to back, choose your spot wisely. The wider, the better. Stay off the end of a row. If it's tight, use extra caution. Stop. Get out and look as many times as necessary. And remember this rule. If you lose sight of your tandems or any reference point, stop. Take a direct look. Use low gear when you're setting up. Throttle is not necessary. Idle the engine, cover the brake. So if you follow these safe backing techniques, you can get in and out of these spots that we face safely. So enough talk. Let's go get in the truck and do some backing. All right, today we're going to do a straight line. A good back starts with a good setup. So the first thing we're going to do is set it up. I'm going to stay about 4 feet out in front of these trailers. I've chosen my spot. It's between these two trailers. I'll be pulling right across the front of these trailers, about 4 feet out at approximately a 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to choose my stop reference. There's the center of the target zone I'm going to back into. I need to put my tractor drive tires pretty much in the center of that spot so that when I pull out, my trailer is going to be centered in the spot I'm going to back into. So I'm going to stop right now and get out and look. Oh yeah, and when I get out, I'm going to use 3 points of contact. Here's another reference that I use when I get out of the truck. That door is approximately 4 feet long, so if I don't come up against the trailer I'm next to, I'm okay. Okay, now that I've stopped, I'm going to come into the target space that I'm backing into, take a look at the dock, make sure it's clear, and I'm looking at my tractor drive tires to make sure they're relatively centered in this zone I'm going to be backing into, so now I can get back in the truck and start my pull-up. Now I'm going to do the pull-up. This is the second step. So I'm going to go down to the low gear, release my brakes. I'm going to turn all the way to the stop or the lock of the steering, away from the space, and I'm going to pull forward and away till I'm almost straight away from the space. I'm going to watch my tandems in the small mirror, the spot mirror, or the convex mirror, and I'm going to watch them come to the edge of that mirror till they almost disappear, and then I'm going to stop. And I'll tell you why. Here we go. Holding the steering wheel all the way to the lock, watching my header, back to my tandems, watching in front, alongside, and behind. Yeah, I'm nervous when I'm doing this because a lot can happen in a real short amount of time. Okay, I'm watching my tandems right there. They've all but disappeared. And I'm actually turned a little bit beyond that reference point across the lot. You know why? Because I need to put my tandems in the center of that space before I serpentine back to straight. And I've done that. My reference point is my trailer tandems, and they're all but disappeared from the small mirror. The reason I stop is my cab extenders are getting close to the trailer. If you continue turning this sharp on a full jackknife, you'll hit your cab extenders. So remember that. That's why we're going to stop and take a look. Now I'm going to continue to pull forward, straightening out, and turning back towards that reference point that I picked across the lot, that purple truck. I'm looking in my mirrors and I'm looking into the space behind me. And I'm watching for gap, and there it is. I have gap on both sides. I can see right into the space. I'm a little bit wider on this side than that, so I'm going to pull over and close the gap with a little serpentine. The forward serpentine has 3 steps. First step, turn towards the gap to close the gap. Turn away from the gap to square the trailer, and turn back towards the gap to straighten the tractor. There it is. Straight, square, right out in front of the space. Stop. Start to back, straight back. Watching my tandems in the small mirror. They appear in this mirror. I turn towards the problem to straighten. I see them a little more on this side. I turn towards the problem to straighten out. Turn towards the problem. Back towards the problem. I'm just doing minor adjustments. If I needed to do a major change of position or a major correction, I would do that with a pull-up. Here we come into the space. I'm centered between the lines. Very pleased with this position. Come all the way into the back of the space, the target zone that I'm backing into, and stop, set my brakes. If that seemed easy, it's because if you do it the right way, it can be safe and easy, done in 3 compact maneuvers. Straight line, love it. Everything starts with your approach and your setup. So my initial approach, I came up about 4 feet away from those trailers parked here, a 90-degree angle along the front side. I've stopped, I've shifted down into low gear. I've got both my windows open so I can hear what's going on around me. There's my target zone. I've chosen the space I'm going to back into. The setup's virtually the same. I come up and I want to put my tractor drive tires pretty much in the center of that spot, that zone that I want to back into. So I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to get out and look. And you know, when you open the door, if it doesn't touch that trailer, that's about 4 feet. Oh yeah, and I'm going to use 3 points of contact when I get out. My setup's good. My drive tires and my 5th wheel are pretty much in the center of that target zone that I want to back into. I'm going to turn my steering wheel all the way away from the space, and I've chosen a distant object across the yard. In this case, it's that purple bobtail sitting over there. I'm just going to pull forward until I'm pointing pretty much straight away to that purple tractor across the way. I'm also looking at my tandems in the spot, right about there. In my spot mirror, my tandems are about, I don't know, an inch from the edge of the mirror. What that does is when I pull forward like this, it gives me room for trailer tail swing, so that that trailer, as I pivot, doesn't hit those trailers that are parked next to where I want to back in. Next move, back towards the target where I want to back in, all the way to the lock, full lock, and pull forward. And I'm just going to hold this position until I see my tandems appear in the mirror. And there they are. And I'm looking in my mirror and I'm lining the corner of my trailer up with those boundary markers, those yellow lines. That's a reference point that I'm using. That defines the outside edge of that target space I'm going to back into. I'm going to pull up. This is a guess. So how do you check your work? When you stop, get out, and again, I'm going to take another direct look. Okay. What I'm checking for is that the corner of my trailer is almost lined up with that boundary line. The reason I do that is I need to be far enough forward to give that trailer room to pivot. Trailer pivots between the tandems on the pivot point, and the 10-foot rule comes into play here. One revolution of that tire, that 22.5 tire, that trailer's gonna move 10 feet. So I gotta have room to maneuver, and I'm gonna start to pivot. So what I'm gonna do when I get back in the truck is I'm gonna turn that steering wheel to a hard lock and start to pivot and push those tandems into the spot. When I feel the tandems have crossed onto that boundary line, I'm gonna stop that pivot, and then I'm gonna square the trailer with the space. And I'm actually going to square it a little bit beyond square, because of that first pull-up I do will straighten it out. And if you push it beyond square, it'll straighten out quicker. Let's go do it. I love this part. We've done the setup, we've done the pull-up, and now we're gonna back up and square the trailer up with the space. And simply put, I'm gonna turn the steering wheel all the way away from the space, from the tandems I see in the mirror, and I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna go with full lock, I'm gonna hold it. Here we go. Just feathering the clutch, letting the truck ride. Watch the tandems as they start to slow down. When the tandems stop, I have to make a choice. I have to stop. Make sure that my cab extenders aren't getting too close. I'm okay. And just continue to back up until I've got a square trailer with the space. I want to back up, not in. Now it's time to stop, get out and look, take a direct look. Oh yeah, I like it. Tandems inside the space, pushed it just beyond square. My first pull up, it's gonna straighten right up, it's gonna work great. Let's go do the switch back 4x4 pull-ups, because right now we're on a 90-degree angle, and we have to put that tractor back in front of the trailer. How do we do that? Switch back, pull up, back up, series of pull-ups and back-ups, put the tractor back out in front of the trailer for our final back, which is going to be a straight line into the space. All right. Now I'm going to start my backup. I'm going to bring it back a little bit and then initiate pivot to a full lock. Let it pivot, watch the tandems roll them into position. When they're into this space, stop them, center the trailer with the space, right about there, on the boundary line, do the 4x4. Series of pull-ups, the switchback, whichever you prefer by any name, I don't care, as long as you understand the technique. It's a series of pull-ups and backups of a measured amount, about 10 feet, that will square and straighten the tractor with the trailer. I'm going to pull up, not out, and I'm going to back up, but not in. Bring it back, re-square it again, back, but not all the way in, and do another 4x4. Serpentine. Use all the moves that we teach you if you got the room. And my final back. Little steering input. Have a gap on both sides. You can see the boundary lines. My tandems are in the boundary. Have gap. Have sight. And back into the parking spot. All right, that's going to be it for today. The backing instruction I gave you. I hope you can use it. So just remember the 5 basic steps. A good result starts with a good setup. Pull up, know where to stop, check your stop reference, then pull up. Square up the trailer with the space before you enter the space. That's key. Then once you've squared your trailer, before entering the space, straighten the tractor up with your square trailer by using the switchback or 4x4 maneuver. I don't care what you call it as long as you know how to do it. It's a series of pull-ups and backups, switching direction, starting out going forward, then reversing direction, and putting the tractor back in front of the trailer. So we pull up, not out, back, not in. Once you've got that position, you have gap on both sides, do your final back, straight line it back in, and you know what, if you follow these guidelines, you too can back safe every day. So thanks for your attention, and until next time, be safe.
All right, YouTube, Facebook, that was a basic backing. Again, a lot of times you may not have the space that he had to back up, but you'll learn that as you get experience. It's kind of a beginning backing instruction, but a lot of times I know the way I was taught and the way I do it a lot of times is when you squaring the trailer up, you kind of enter the space at the same time, because usually they're not going to have that much space to actually square the trailer up, and before the trailer starts entering into the space. So a lot of times you do kind of entering the space, square his trailer up, back it, straighten it up, all in one little whoosh. But again, that was a good training. I think it was really good. And I want to say thank you for the support you guys have been giving me. We are 1,000 subscribers. We are into 2016 with 1,000 subscribers. We met our deadline. Yes, I appreciate everything you guys have done to support me. This is J Trucker 717. Peace. I'm out of here. I got freight to move.